right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. Actually, it's 12, so technically afternoon, and welcome back to Fishin. We are at max boat traffic, which is not a surprise. I usually don't fish weekends, but I had the day off, and the conditions look pretty good, so we're gonna brave this. Yeah, we're gonna try and get on some fluke and some bottom fishing, maybe some sea bass. Not picky. The fishing's been kind of tough out here, so whatever we get, we are happy to get. I'm going to put the camera down for this intro just because there are a lot of boats out here, and definitely have to keep mind of what's going on, but we'll get you out there soon, so stay tuned. All right, so if I haven't made it clear, it is quite hot out here. Yeah, so we're not doing anything off the beaten path to start. We're just going to be jigging some gulp first on just a standard 3/4 ounce jig head, and depending on how quick that tide and wind start moving, we might upgrade to something heavier or maybe even downgrade to something lighter, depending on just what this drift looks like. We're going to start with a 5-inch gulp jigging mullet, or sorry, swimming mullet. We're going to jig it on a 3/4 ounce jig head and see what is around. It's been slow lately, apparently. I haven't been to this spot for a while, but last time I was here it did pretty well, so hopefully it'll be like that today. Let's see what we can do. Okay, it's incoming tide. We do have a little bit of wind against tide, but it's fairly light, so it's not that much of a nuisance. Fishing fairly deep water, 50 to 60 feet, maybe even 70 at times. We're going to be moving around if we can't find the fish early, but we're going to fish deep to start and see what happens after that. Wow, we're already onto something very small. Probably a mini biscuit, aka mini sea bass. I'm surprised this fish is even hooked, to be honest. No, well, sea robin. I thought it was a porgy for a second. Whatever. No skunk today. Catching something. Very first drop. Let's not get finned. If you fin me, I'll strip bait you. Good sea robin. All right, back down we go. Okay, first drift sea robin. Not what we wanted to start with, but at least we're gonna catch something today. But we can do better. And we got time. We got all day, or the rest of the day. So let's make good use of this. Generally never have Saturdays to fish, so let's get on some action. There we go. That's a sea bass, and it's off. Come on back. Definitely a sea bass. Got him that time. Oh, whoa, whoa, sea bass, whoa. Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but it's the right species, or one of the right species. Hello. Not a bad fish. This is just a little bit smaller than I want to keep. Pretty fish though. Beautiful colors. Okay, just pulled a nice little sea bass in the boat. Just a little smaller than I'm looking to keep. I think it would have measured up, but there wouldn't have been much meat on it. If we can only keep 3, I know I ate my words last time I was in this situation, but that fish was nothing too special. Regardless, if there's one, there should be more. There's definitely a lot of sea bass and perhaps porgies in the water, and they keep munching off my gulp, and I honestly don't have a ton of it, and I don't want to waste whatever gulp I do have, so we're going to try this. This is my little tactic that I've learned and picked up from other YouTube fishermen, Yakking with Bigfoot, John Skinner. Got our munched off gulp, and then we have a white fat cow jig strip, and I've been keeping those jig strips in the gulp juices to really hammer home the flavor. The gulp obviously still has flavor, and the tail is just there to give it movement. I believe it's a 5.5-inch tail, and it's the eel variety. Let's get it down there and see if this does the trick. All right, fat cow jig strip and the gulp, munched off gulp. Know there's sea bass down there. This generally works pretty well with the bucktail. I'm not sure how it'll do with just this plain jig head, but we'll give it a shot because they seem to be responding to this profile. There he is. That feels like a fluke, maybe. Nah. Not a fluke. Sea robin. No sea bass, but that's good. They like this. Not the right size. We definitely lost some better ones, but if he takes it, I'm sure a bigger one will. All right, just got our first sea bass on the Fat Cow jig strip munched gulp combo. Hopefully the first of many. A lot of little guys. Right species, wrong size. Here we go, that's a better one. That's a better sea bass. Still not huge, but good size. Step in the right direction. They like it. Well, there's no shortage of sea bass around. Unfortunately, most of them don't seem to be very big, but I know there's some good ones down there. We've hooked a couple that felt quite nice. So we're gonna stick with it, and if we're lucky, we might even pull a fluke up or two. All right, it's about 2 o'clock, which means time to take a quick trip to flavor country. Just got a little seltzer, caffeinated. Hot days like this, you need to stay hydrated, and a little bubbly never hurts. So just a little something to keep me motivated while I'm out here. This Fat Cow jig strip's really doing the trick though. I mean, if you look at this, it's taken a beating. I actually got hung up a little while ago, so I had a mangled piece. I actually cut it down because I had some trouble getting it off the hook last time I used it. So this is a slightly smaller presentation, slightly smaller profile, but the fish are digging it. So let's get down there and see if we can make it happen. All right, I think it's time to make a move. We're gonna check out some other spots. It's just small fish and sea robins here. All right, we're moving around. And because of that, we're giving the Fat Cow jig strip a little break, just because I don't foresee as many sea bass being stacked in these spots. So we want to just get the unadulterated presentation from the Gulp. We just got a sea robin. Hopefully there's some other fish here. Going over that drift again.
So after a while of fishing in the same area, the bite really started to slow down. The tide started to go slack. So I decided then to try and explore a little bit and try some different stretches of bottom to see if there was any fish around, just in case it was this one spot that wasn't going so well. And I did move around a lot, but I didn't really find anything. Just a lot of sea robins, and had a lot of what felt like porgy or tiny sea bass bites. But during this time, the wind really started to ramp up, making it much more difficult to get a good drift. And eventually I decided to move back towards the main area that I started, and fortunately by this time the winds kept going the same direction, but the tide started to move with the wind, giving me a more ideal drift when I was fishing.
I will say this wind is definitely blowing harder than it was forecasted to, but that's really not something that surprises me out here. It's been a windy summer for the most part. Any day that it's been calm, I've unfortunately either not been in town or have had to work or both, so you take what you get. We don't have a lot of time left to fish. I mean, we probably could fish for another 2 hours, but it's been slow ever since tide went slack. It's starting to go out now. I'm hoping this will turn the bite on. We will see. Having a bit of trouble holding bottom though, so we've up to a 1 ounce and we're doing a bucktail just to see how that handles. There we go. Sea bass. No, I think that's a fluke. What do you know? What do you know? Better late than never, right guys? Alright, thanks for showing up to the party, buddy. And releasing yourself too. Just got our first fluke of the day. Just took a few hours. But we've had a fairly decent time. We've been getting some sea bass and plenty of sea robins. Let's see if we can make the most of this and get some more fluke. Another fluke, wow. We're on them now. Pretty much right where we got the last one. Well, maybe we can repeat what we did last time and sneak away with the keeper right as tide switches. All right, he took the tail. Let's do what we were doing before and use the fat cow jig strip. We just got our second fluke back to back with the first one, so that's a good sign. If there's some small ones here, there very well might be some bigger ones, as we found out last time we were in this area. Let's see if we can do it again. Some sea bass wouldn't be a bad thing either. Might have been bottom. That might have been bottom. Oh, wow. No way. Wow, this is something giant. Oh my God. This is something big. All right, he's lightening up pretty quick, but it's a fluke. It's a big one. I don't know. Whew, here we go again. It's definitely a keeper, I know that much. We know it's a keeper. That 1 second though, it straight up felt like we were stuck on the bottom. Doesn't feel so big anymore. Might be foul hooked. Oh, that's a good fish. That is a good fish. Let's not blow this. Booyah! Whoa, don't fall out of that net. That's a good 6-7 pounder right there. Maybe 5-6, I don't know. Let's get him in the boat so we can tell. Oh yeah. Booyah. So this guy literally became unbuttoned as soon as he got in the boat. So let's get him measured up. This guy, it's just about 24 inches. It's about where I've been topping out this year. It's not a bad fish. 5.5 pounder probably. Solid fish. All right. Just when we thought it was pretty much over, we got this guy. Probably 5.5 pound fluke right there. About 24 inches. Just about tied for my best this season. Pretty nice. Let's bleed him out and get him in. Hey, so some of you have been asking how I bleed these fish out. There's really not much to it, to be honest. Basically just clip the gills and maybe a little bit of the membrane right under it. So right there. I'm going to do this off camera, but snip right there and do the same thing on the other side. I don't want to have an animal cruelty flag on this video. All right, let's get this guy in the water. My One of my better fluke of the season, if not the biggest so far. It's right about where I'm topping out at, like 24 incher, 5.5 pounds. Still looking for that first doormat. I mean, this is a nice fish. I wouldn't call it a doormat. Maybe like a shower mat? I don't know, you tell me, folks. Let's get it back down there. There could very well be a much larger fish. And of course, that one came on the Munched Gulp with the fat cow jig strip. That's probably gonna factor into this title, because it's definitely helped, you know, maximize my productive time jigging in the water. Also, I'm soaked right now, folks, so yeah, so much for that forecast of light and calm winds. All right, we just got snagged on the bottom, so we had to retie everything. New leader, new bucktail, new gulp, new jig strip. But we made our way back to the area we got that fluke, and we're gonna see if we can get some more, because there's definitely fish down there. Getting a lot of bites. Just the problem is a lot of them are small, but I'm sure there's some good fish in there, even if they're not fluke. It's got to be some keeper sea bass in there. Now that would be a perfect pairing with this fluke to secure a full dinner. Oh, that's a good fish. I think it's a fluke though. I would have preferred a sea bass with this kind of weight. It's definitely a fluke, but I don't think he's going to be a big enough fish to keep. But we're fine with that. We're just happy to get some fish on the end of the line. I don't think so. Nah, you're not big enough. Not a bad fish though. Probably like, screw it, let's just give it a measure. That other fish might have inflated our belief of how big a fish needs to be, but I don't think so. 17.5, no. Nice fish though. Looks like we got some haze moving through, some clouds. I'm keeping an eye on it. If it looks like it gets any more dense, we're just gonna pack it up, because last thing I need is to be stuck in some fog with all the kooks out here riding their little mega yachts around. All right, this will almost certainly be my last drift. I just don't like the look of all that haze and fog over there. It's still a good mile or so off, but it's going to be making its way over here eventually. So last drift, and then we're going to pack it in. All right, that's going to do it for today. Not a bad session. Could have been much worse. Obviously could have been a bit better, but I was happy with the way it ended. Definitely, if anything we took away from this, the fat cow jig strip or anything of that kind of nature really brings life into the gulp, and definitely extends the lifespan of these packs of gulp that you get. Obviously there's other things other than a fat cow jig strip you can use. One thing I sometimes use in a pinch is a sea robin strip, or even a fluke strip. But I do kind of like the fat cow jig strips, because this particular brand or type, the swimming eel, has a very similar tail to, say, a gulp grub or a gulp swimming mullet. So definitely one of my favorite combos, and they soak really well in the gulp juices as well. So I didn't pioneer this. I learned this from my friend James from Yakkin' with Bigfoot, so definitely check him out. But anyways, thank you for watching as always. Any day you can get on the water, take dinner home, obviously a winner. Even if we wish we got a few more. The fluke bite has been pretty tough out here as of late, and that's all I've been hearing too. So I feel very happy to be able to pull some keepers from inshore, both today and the last session I went as well. So thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video and all that other stuff. I will see you on the water soon, wherever it may be, so please do stay tuned. As always, have a great rest of your day, and of course, goodbye from Fishin'.